They say that when something is too good to be true, more often than not it is. But hear me out. How does 187 horses, 250 newton meters of torque, and a hybrid powertrain sound all for under 1.1 million Philippine pesos? Kinda sounds like a scam, right? Well, I'm here to tell you today that that is 100% legit, because this is the 2024 MG3 Hybrid Plus on this next episode of Behind the Wheel. Now, if y'all still don't believe me, here is where all the fuss is about. See, we remember a time when the most affordable hybrid that you could get back then was about 1.5 million Philippine pesos. Now, they're over that mark, and you can expect to pay at least 1.5, maybe even 1.6 million Philippine pesos as it starts, or heck, even a lot more for a hybrid. And that is why this car is such a disruptor, because MG has priced it at just 1,088,888 pesos. I'm being dead serious. If you don't believe me, try the AutoDeal app, which is available on iOS and Android, and you'll see the prices for yourself. The app, by the way, is absolutely free. But for that price, funny enough, you don't get what you pay for. You get a lot more. For starters, you get a series parallel hybrid, which means that not only are you coating exempt, but it is a super fuel sipper. In mixed conditions, city and highway, we were able to clock in 16 kilometers per liter. In the city alone, in the midst of the holiday season rush, we got about 9 kilometers per liter stuck sitting in traffic for hours on end. But on the highway, get this, we were able to push it to 21 kilometers per liter. Now that comes from a 1.5 liter mated to an electric motor, which has a 3-speed hybrid transmission with 187 horses and 250 newton meters of torque. I would like to talk about the engine a little bit later, because with that much torque and power in a car of this size, you'd think that this car could fly. But before we get into that, let's talk about the exterior first, shall we? I do like how MG's a lot more original than before when it comes to its new designs. This car actually looks quite unique, from the front grille, the little nose in the front, and the very angry headlights. It looks really menacing up until you look at its entire size and you go, "Oh, it's so cute." It's kind of giving me Chihuahua vibes. Angry, but cute, but angry and cute. Arr, 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 arr. Down the side, you have repeaters on your side mirrors, a nice overall shape from the hood to the hatch, and you're looking at 117 millimeters of ground clearance and 16-inch alloy wheels wrapped in 195/55 series tires with disc brakes all around. With 191 horses under the hood, yeah, you're going to be glad that you've got disc brakes all around. Although the wheel gap kind of catches me off. The ground clearance is 117, but it kind of looks like it's more like 130, maybe more. Now, this car can seat 5 people, but with a wheel gap like this, if you ever get into an argument with your wife, you can probably sleep in there. The rear is quite sleek. You get some nice wraparound tail lamps, cutouts on the rear bumper, and the rear door that is actually quite small. Good for small apartments and confined spaces, but it kind of leaves a massive lip, which would be a problem if the car were taller, but it's not, so we can move on. Inside, you've got 241 liters, which is quite large considering the diminutive size of the automobile. Not enough to fit a balikbayan box, but if you fold the bench of the second row, then yeah, you can definitely fit balikbayan boxes in there. However, the downside is that it's not a 60-40 split, so it's an all or nothing kind of a thing. So inside this car, if you're going to be loading things, maximum of 2 passengers. Only 241 liters of space, then you can maximize it to 5 passengers. Got it? Good. Okay, so first off, it's not all leather inside the vehicle. I do understand that most, if not all, really top trim levels, when we're talking about Japanese cars, it's all leather in the back. This one is like cloth with leather. But I think we'll give it a bit of a pass because apart from the basic seats, it does get all the other basics right. And I'm talking about bottle holders on either door, air conditioning vents here directly in front of you in the center, a type A charging point, a small cubby holder in the bottom. And then how cool is this? It does have ISOFIX tethers, but it's got a nice little Velcro cover that makes sure that if you've got kids back here when they're eating cereals and whatnot, it doesn't get stuck in there. It's pretty smart. Legroom is quite decent enough if I am sitting behind my driving position. Earl, who's a little bit taller than me, yeah, he'll fit too. Jack might be a little bit of an issue. I might have to tell him that he needs to sit up front. But if I were to sit behind Jack's driving position, I don't think that's going to be an issue. So the leg room is okay. Thigh support is good. Headroom is still quite decent. Then again, I am a dwarf, so not much of that. No center armrest. And if there were a third passenger, might be a tight squeeze, but it does get the basics right, which, yeah, good for it. But the real story is really up front, isn't it? Up front, you are greeted with quite a number of interesting things. Some of them good, some of them bad. One really good thing is that while others out there are going for faux carbon fiber, in here, MG's got plaid going on. Now, I myself don't look good in plaid, but I guess MG carries it a heck of a lot better than I do, man. The bummer, though, is that it also has a lot of piano blacks inside this car in high traffic areas, like here by the gear shifter, or rather the gear knob, and also on your steering wheel. That is not so good. What's good is the large infotainment screen that you have inside, which doubles as your reverse camera and has wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto. Yes, wired, but at least it has those systems. There are other cars out there that unfortunately don't have that. Underneath, you have shortcut buttons immediately to your system. You do have controls for your audio. Sadly, though, you don't have controls for your air, which means that you have to go into the system to control the air very, very quickly. Moving down, you've got a lot of buttons in here. Also down, no, not a lot, but a few buttons because they've simplified it in a very good manner. You have your parking brake, your auto hold, and your drive modes. You have more buttons on your steering wheel, but unfortunately, this has somewhat of a learning curve because there are no, well, text on the buttons to tell you what it is. It's basically just caricatures, and you have to figure out at some point exactly what it is it all means, which is customizable, by the way, inside the infotainment system. The infotainment system, however, has a bit also of a downside to it. While it's great and clear, the 360 camera works and everything, the problem is that when you want to get into the system of the automobile, you have to disengage your phone pairing. So for instance, if I wanted to get to the air, I would have to disengage that to be able to get into the system itself to change the air. Again, it does take some time, but the nice thing is that it's nice and clear. Jack doesn't like that. No, Jack does not like that at all. Clear 2 is the 7-inch all-color display that you have up front that has all the drive informations. Shh, I'm in the middle, man, of a review. That is also full color, as I said, and has all the driver information that you need, including the battery percentage that you have in this hybrid and what power it is that you're using, whether it's the engine or the electric motor. Other amenities include cubby holes found here, cup holders here. You have two USB charging points and a 12-volt socket. More cubby space in the center. Oh, and check this out. I found there's also still more piano black on the key. That's nitpicking already. And then you've got some cubby space here in the back with a nice tray. I like this tray because it's good for your RFID cards and whatnot. Or maybe Earl's keys to his mansion, including his... Do you know how rich Earl is? He needs a wallet this big to carry all his cash. I have a wallet half this size. What do you do for a living, man, apart from working with us? I apologize for the banter when it's just me and Earl shooting. We chit-chat a little too much. Jack is the one that basically keeps us in line, based, so to speak. Based. So let's head out for a drive right now, shall we? Do please like and subscribe our channel and our videos because we create all of these just for you. Earl, it's time to get inside the car. Now you can get inside the... What are you doing? Thank you. The camera, dude, the camera. corners left and right with the MG3 hybrid isn't exactly dynamic because we were quite amazed at just how comfortable it is. Simon Cowell over here finds it a little too compliant with lots of body roll. Great for city and long drives out of the highway, but if you're tackling twisties all the time, it could use stiffer suspension, and well, yeah, I tend to agree with him there. On the flip side, however, I find the suspension to be quite good because it's so comfortable. I don't have to worry much about road imperfections or noise. We did, however, find one issue, because while this is an internal combustion engine and a hybrid motor, when you're going uphill and you're kind of pushing it, when you run out of battery power, the electric motor obviously won't turn on. So you're relegated to the internal combustion engine, and you will kind of start coming to a crawl. That is, of course, until you recharge your batteries again. But again, this is only when you're like driving like Earl.
Hey,
It's true though.
it's true.
Now, on to the fun stuff, the engine on a piece of road that I'm actually more familiar with because it is the highway. It is something else. Look, turbochargers in small cars are most definitely a lot of fun, but a hybrid system is completely something else. It's really different. Like when Earl first brought this car to me, he picked me up, we hit the highway, and he told me to floor it. And instantly, we were up to 100 kilometers per hour. It's so much fun inside this car. Overtaking is so much fun inside this car. It's very, very capable, and the acceleration too is something else. It's quite novel actually, thanks to, well, the 3-speed hybrid transmission. To describe the feeling, the truth is it feels like it has a turbo or a VTEC of some sorts. The transmission realizes that when you're at a higher speed and then you floor it, there's a surge of power that all of a sudden starts kicking in. Like, I'm gonna do it right. Wow! There's a surge of power that really comes in. To describe it even further, this is kind of a stretch, but imagine you're in the Millennium Falcon and you're traveling at quite a fast pace already, but then it hits light speed. Albeit that this is probably 1,000,000 kilometers per hour slower. I'm just saying it's like it. And when you're at high speeds, you'd think that the engine and the hybrid system will run out of breath, but no, it just keeps going and going and going and going. The top speed of this car is 180 kilometers per hour. There is also one other thing. It's good and bad. The advanced driver assist systems inside this car is top notch. It's filled to the brim and it works great, absolutely great. But it's a little, for me, sometimes a little too much. That it warns you always left and right about lane departures, incoming traffic, and even now on clear highways like this, it seems like it can read the speed limits that are on the road, which it's going to show right now. It's just that I enjoy the fact that it's a very safe car. It's just chock full of information, but sometimes can be annoying. Kind of like,
Hey,
it's am I right?
it's true.
It's true. Believe me when I say that this car can give even entry-level sports cars a run for their money when it comes to speed in a straight line, and yet be able to do it while sipping fuel like a Brit that sips tea early in the morning.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Oh yes, but make sure that your pinky's not up, because apparently when it is up, it means you have syphilis.
Indubitably. Wait, what?
I heard that somewhere. Somebody was interviewing Snoop Dogg and he said, should I keep my pinky up? And the guy goes, no, Snoop, that means you have syphilis.
Ooh.
So keep them pinkies down. So I'll ask the question again. Is it too good to be true? Well, had you told me back in 2017 that you could get a hybrid for under 1.1 million Philippine pesos, I wouldn't have believed you. But now that I've driven it, I still don't believe that the package exists because, come on, a hybrid for a little more than a million Philippine pesos and it's fun to drive too? Man, I really do believe that MG has a good package here, something very special. But more than the car itself, I think that it's a wake-up call to the other manufacturers out there, the dealers, the consumers alike, that an affordable yet good hybrid is 100% possible. Legit.